You're like, oh, well, that sounds concerning, right? A white person criticizing a brown nation. And then the reply is, Lawrence, it's the fucking Taliban.
Jeremiah Johnson, welcome back to Offline.
Really glad to be here, man. How you guys doing?
We're pretty good. I got to say, you have this, every year, you collect the 64 worst tweets of the year. You put them into a bracket, and then you have people vote on them on Twitter. And this was really hard.
Yeah.
There's some real good ones. This is an intense competition this year.
You managed to get me assigned as a work responsibility at my job reading bad tweets, and I really don't know whether to be grateful or angry about that.
Look, I mean, I've looked through like hundreds of these to get ready for this, and at this point, my brain is fully melted. It's like sloshing around the bottom of my skull. So, whatever comes next, I've just accepted.
How long ago did you start this? I feel like I remember it from a couple of years ago. At least that's when I hopped on the bandwagon here. And my question is, why? Are you okay?
I started it in 2022, and I'll let you in on like just a little secret. People have accused me of spending too much time on the internet. That's a thing that happens.
Yeah,
Same.
Sounds familiar. I've heard it.
Yeah, it's just this thing. I think it actually, the genesis was like a Rebecca Jennings tweet that went viral. She's a writer for Vox on online culture. And in 2022, she tweeted something about like, what's the most unhinged discourse you've seen this year? And that was the year of like the coffee wife and the chili neighbor and bean dad and like all these like famous Twitter things. People who don't know what we're talking about. I sound like an insane person, but basically it just kind of, I was thinking, well, why not just gamify it? Everybody likes everything to be gamified in the modern culture, in the modern world, and why not just have some fun with it?
You should team up with Fortnite.
And people who do know what he's talking about, this is the show for you.
This is, yes.
In fact,
you're
this
here
is
for a reason.
this is the segment of the show for
You're
you.
home.
All right, so jokes aside, we thought it'd be fun for each of us, you, me, and Max, to select our two favorites, or I guess least favorite? I don't know. Our favorite worst tweets from the bracket, and make the case for why we each think our tweet should be the worst tweet of the year. Now, we're recording this on Wednesday, December 18th. I believe there's already one round that's already happened. We have, 32 left? Are we at the round of 32 yet?
Yes, we are currently voting the top 32. By tomorrow, it will be to the top 16. We will eventually get to one winner, one single champion of just putrid Twitter awfulness.
Now, have you partnered with any specific casino in Vegas for odds taking on this, or is it just kind of all black market at this point?
I have actually had people offer to sponsor the bracket.
Wow.
And mostly it has been like weird crypto scam shit. So I have declined. But like, I'm not in theory opposed to like, if somebody wants to offer me a bag, I'm not going to, decline. But crypto is maybe a bridge too far.
Will there be a one shining moment, like video of the worst tweets at the very end? Austin's going to do that. Great. Thank you, Austin. All right, Max, what's your first bad tweet?
So this is a phrase that has been just bouncing around my head ever since I was cursed enough to see it on my screen. I text it to friends occasionally just so that they know that it's going on in my head. My online dom lives in Israel because she's so stressed about living next to a war zone. I haven't properly gotten off since October 7th. Ceasefire now. It's a beautiful sentiment, I feel.
Now, I will say we had a whole segment on Terminally Online where Kat Abu, that was her item for that week, and boy, that was special.
The real heads know. This one is for the connoisseurs, I feel.
Now, that one's already been eliminated, I guess, right? Because I did not see that today.
That one, so it's funny that this one was included. One from Blue Sky snuck in without me realizing it. That one is actually from Blue Sky.
Damn, a skeet.
It is a beautiful tweet, though, because it has this, like, there's a certain genre of tweet where it's like there's this big, really important societal thing happening. It's some geopolitical event, some societal event. But how can I make this about me? What's really important about the October 7th attacks is whether or not I've been orgasming recently.
Anytime there is major news somewhere now, I'm texting someone that my online dom lives there. So they're in Damascus at the moment, actually.
Jeremiah, you can go next. What's your pick?
All right. So just as like a setup, one of the things that I think takes like a generically bad tweet into really, really amazingly bad territory is that really like snotty tone of voice that people use, where people are like, hey, Jon, saw you tweeted this. Hope you can do better.
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of like millennial snot kind of tweeting style where like I'm a pretty chill guy, but anytime somebody says hope that helps at the end of a tweet, I start thinking about the death penalty. So there's one of these where this is after the Joe Biden debate kind of disaster. Miriam tweets, Steve Harvey messed up announcing Miss Universe in 2015, and we didn't call for him to step down from hosting Family Feud, just saying. And then somebody asks, did Steve Harvey have access to the nuclear codes? And their response is, not my job to educate you.
The genre of like pro Biden, like anti Biden dropout tweets is really some incredible stuff. It was a soft year, honestly, up until that point, and then Twitter really brought it with that moment, I feel.
The implication being that like I'm not going to educate you, and Steve Harvey might have had access to the nuclear codes.
Not my job to educate you is got to be right up there with one of my the Twitter phrases. It's just like, okay, maybe it's not your job to educate me, but it is your job to criticize me.
Sure, that's right.
You have used
send a tweet.
You have found it within yourself to offer the emotional labor to criticize on Twitter, but you will not educate on Twitter.
Well, that is all of our jobs, is to send shitty tweets to each other, is my understanding.
So I have to be honest, guys. There's like 8 that I have been trying to
you
decide
were really
between,
pulling your hair out over this.
But I'm going to keep it in the Biden dropout category, just because this one I remember at the time, and it's one of my favorites. This is at Rebecca Ryder, and this is, I guess this is a play here. This is a one-act play. Pundits, Joe Biden needs to drop out. Biden, no. Pundits, but we really want Joe Biden to drop out. Biden, no. 8 House Dems, Joe, the pundits say you need to drop out. They really want that. Biden, no. George Clooney, come on, Joe, just relax. You'll like dropping out.
Jesus
Biden, no.
Christ.
Voters, no means no, motherfuckers. And then, this is how she sums up the whole thing. Politics and rape culture are too similar for comfort.
Oh, God.
Is calling for Joe Biden to drop out
Sexual
like
assault.
rape culture?
Yeah. I mean,
it's a great question.
It's a tweet, and it went viral, so I guess that's true.
Also, guess what? That's not what the voters said.
I mean, those are words you can put in that order, right? Those are English words that I recognize, but you put them in that particular order, and it's like, there's a second genre of tweet that is just like, I'm going to take some legitimate idea and then just extend it so far beyond the goalposts of where it needs to be that you see that all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever I see a tweet like this, I always picture someone like in line in CVS and the tweet coming to them and then breaking out a line to run home and type it up on their screen. Gotta tell the world. Okay, second one from me. This is just an important, capital I important tweet. This is from Navy SEAL Robert J. O'Neill.
Oh, okay. Now I can cross this off my list.
It's an important one. It has to be in the canon. To some Zoomers who voted for Kamala, you're not men, you're boys. If there was no social media, you would be my concubines. It's a crazy thing to say to somebody.
He's a SEAL Team 6.
Listen, from what we've heard about the culture on SEAL Team 6, this is actually not shocking news.
No, you got to do the follow-up.
This is the guy who, in all probability, I don't think we have confirmation, but like this guy probably killed Osama bin Laden, and now he is like shit posting on Twitter. Like that's his new job.
Yes,
you win some, you lose some.
Chris Pratt is out here telling the Zoomer boys that he is gonna. No, someone was like, "What?" And he said, "No, Jake, I'm telling you what the beta's like. It will be used for sex and food, mostly food."
I like that. It's like, in case you didn't understand what I meant when I said concubine.
I meant concubine.
I'm going to use you boys for sex and food. Just very specific from Mr. SEAL Team 6.
He's got a worldview. He's sticking to his guns. He's consistent. I'll give him that much.
Incredible.
Just the adding of cannibalism on top of the concubines. And now I'm scrambling for a second because that was one of mine, Max.
I know. I abused my position in the lineup. It's true.
Okay, so I've got another one that I think is just really, it's very special. It's the kind of thing you only see on Twitter, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So the setup here is that Lawrence says something about a white girl criticizing a
damn.
brown nation, exercising their sovereignty. It just rubs me the wrong way. And you're like, oh, that sounds concerning, right? A white person criticizing a brown nation. And then the reply is, Lawrence, it's the fucking Taliban.
Damn it, that was my other one.
This was a great one because when the Afghan government fell, the Taliban took over, there was like an hour when you could tell Twitter was really toying with like, are we going to be pro-Taliban now? Do we like really, like maybe we're going to be pro-Taliban. Yeah, let's try it out. And then people kind of backed off.
Okay. Some of these I really liked, but I was like, I cannot even say this on the podcast.
Because it has the
It
phrase.
just feels so...
Are you looking at the Rod Dreher one?
there's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to do polyphobic, or do I want to do abolish bedtime?
It's not a synopsis of Twitter in 2024 unless there's a mention of poly.
I'm going both because they're both quick.
Okay.
This one is from Jess. We need to talk about how giving people a +1 for events is low-key polyphobic.
Yeah, low-key is another phrase that it had its use, it did, but it's been used in so many like rage bait viral tweets now. You just can't say it anymore without sounding like a tweet.
And then this one, this is I like this a lot because this is another kind of category that we haven't hit yet. The anarchist turtle. Great follow. I don't understand people who recognize that social constructs exist, but think time abolition is silly. And then Moonlit Misfit quote tweeted it, I unironically support bedtime abolition, but I think full-time abolition is an unrealistic prospect.
Do you not remember?
Someone drew a line.
There was a time abolition discourse in I think it was like 2020 or 2021. Do you remember this? It came out of a New York Times Magazine story where there was references to mechanical clock time.
Oh my God.
As being something that was a racist construct.
Fixed bedtimes are a symptom of the control wage labor and formal schooling have over our lives. But time measuring is useful for organizing voluntary leisure activities too. So you got your time abolition absolutists, and then you sort of got your moderates who just want to do bedtime abolition.
I mean, hasn't Lovett been talking about this all week?
Yeah, it goes all the way. Well, he's like a mushy centrist now. He's going all the way to daylight saving time.
Yeah, he's got to hear both sides.
Wow.
The funny thing about that one is that in kind of trying to choose the 64 that got into the bracket, there was more than one abolish style tweet. And I had to kind of do like a little runoff among a few friends of like which one gets included because I can't have half the bracket be just abolishing things.
Right.
And it was stuff like abolish bedtime, abolish kitchens, abolish school. And at some point you start to realize, wait, this is just like an 8-year-old's list of demands. Like abolish school, abolish bedtime. I don't want to do the dishes, mom. So like
it's, well, that's all the time we got. I can't wait to figure out who wins this thing. I just voted for this round.
The
some of them are really tough because you had some real good ones going up against each other in this round. Like just two that I read. I think that Taliban. It's the Taliban is going up against the Biden one, which is tough. Or abolish bedtime. Sorry.
What I will say is that we've gotten some listener feedback that we need to be more open to blue sky. So I would say open up the bracket to Skeets. Open it up to blue sky.
I mean, next year, man, bad Skeets.
Bad Skeets. You do a whole separate bracket.
That's
like
right.
the NIT.
That's right.
All right, Jeremiah. Well, I'm excited to see who wins. Everyone should check out Jeremiah's fantastic Substack, Infinite Scroll. You can follow him on Twitter if you want to read more bad tweets and good tweets from Jeremiah, but bad tweets otherwise. That's our show for today. Jeremiah, thanks a ton for stopping by. Thank you to all the listeners who submitted questions. We will be back in your feed after the holidays.